You should never have to put yourself at risk for cancer in the name of controlling blood sugar. The truth is some so-called diabetic foods actually control your blood sugar while quietly fueling cancer behind the scenes. Just because a diet controls your blood sugar doesn't mean it's also healing you. Here is something most people fail to realize. It's possible to keep your blood sugar and A1C normal by doing things that are harmful to your health. Here's a question you always need to ask yourself. How is the rest of my health, especially my long-term health, being affected by what I'm doing to control blood sugar? Some of the foods people use to control blood sugar can actually increase your risk for cancer. Cancer is a serious diabetes-related health issue because diabetes can actually weaken the immune system. And we know that a weakened immune system becomes a very, very serious risk factor for cancer. I have coached people with diabetes to safely lower blood sugar and A1C by eating healthy carbs the right way. In this video, I'm going to show you how certain foods people often rely on for lowering blood sugar could actually be putting them at risk for cancer. I'll also talk about a medical test that clearly shows that these foods actually increase your risk for cancer. So the first food that people often rely on for controlling blood sugar that could be putting them at risk for cancer is meat. Now, here is how eating too much meat can put you at risk for cancer. A diet high in meat can lead to oxidative stress and subsequently chronic systemic inflammation. So here is how it all unfolds. Meat is very harsh on your gut. It can destroy the gut microbiome. This happens because meat creates a very hostile setting for the healthy microbes in your gut. So as a result, the population of those healthy microbes drops. And because of that, the harmful microbes find a chance to actually multiply out of control. This leads to a condition known as gut dysbiosis. So this is where the harmful microbes far outnumber the good ones. With gut dysbiosis, leaky gut syndrome follows. So this is where all that harmful stuff from inside the gut leaks into the body because the gut wall is highly permeable. When that harmful stuff leaks into the body, oxidative stress follows. So oxidative stress is a condition where the body is completely overwhelmed with harmful radicals. So this is where the amount of all those harmful radicals far surpasses the body's ability to get rid of them. Oxidative stress leads to chronic systemic inflammation. And we know that chronic systemic inflammation is a major risk for cancer development and progression. Chronic systemic inflammation in body cells also leads to insulin resistance. When body cells are chronically inflamed, they become less and less responsive to insulin. Now, there is one medical test that accurately shows your insulin resistance status, and that's the glucose tolerance test. And this is a test that you can take to assess your insulin resistance status. Why is insulin resistance important with regards to cancer? Insulin resistance is actually a known risk factor for cancer. So by taking the oral glucose tolerance test to assess your insulin resistance status, that gives you a very clear picture as to where your health is heading. So when your diet is high in meat, the oral glucose tolerance test actually shows that you are also becoming more and more insulin resistant despite your normal blood sugar and A1C numbers. So it's very, very important to make sure you're very much aware of what your insulin resistance status is, because that says a lot when it comes to understanding your risk for cancer. Now, here's another way meat tends to increase your risk for cancer. It weakens the immune system. And diabetes already weakens your immune system. So by eating meat, you actually make things even worse. Here is how eating meat can weaken your immune system. I mentioned earlier that high meat intake can lead to a condition known as gut dysbiosis. So what happens is when those healthy microbes are in short supply, that leads to a low level of short chain fatty acids. Now, these short chain fatty acids are produced when healthy microbes in the gut interact with fiber. When a diet is high in meat and low in fiber, that means the population of healthy microbes is low. A low population of healthy microbes means the amount of short-chain fatty acids is also very low. Short-chain fatty acids are powerful compounds known to keep the immune system strong. So the immune system actually suffers when the amount of short-chain fatty acids is low. Now, another way eating too much meat contributes to cancer is raising the level of homocysteine. This is a protein associated with an increased risk for cancer as well as other chronic conditions. So when your diet is high in meat, you are likely to increase the amount of homocysteine, and that can actually put you at an increased risk for cancer. Now, here is another food that can lower your blood sugar, but also put you at risk for cancer. Any food containing artificial sweeteners. Artificial sweeteners like meat create a very hostile environment in the gut for those healthy microbes. And the result, of course, is gut dysbiosis, which then leads to oxidative stress. Oxidative stress leads to chronic inflammation. And as I explained already, chronic inflammation is a risk factor for cancer. Chronic systemic inflammation also makes body cells more and more resistant to insulin. That's what we refer to as insulin resistance. Secondly, artificial sweeteners can weaken your immune system because, as I mentioned earlier, when those healthy microbes are in low supply, it means the short chain fatty acids that are produced when healthy microbes interact with fiber are also lacking. Lack of short chain fatty acids is associated with a very, very weak immune system. A weak immune system is the perfect environment for the development and progression of cancer. Now, I know a lot of people might be thinking, well, I've been following a low carb diet for a long time, eating meat and very few carbs, and this has kept my blood sugar normal. And right now, I've had no issues with cancer. Let me say something about that. Cancer, like other chronic conditions, develops quietly over time. There's nothing like if you have cancer now, it's because your diet has been unhealthy for the past few months or even year. So this is a disease you only get to find out later down the line that it has actually been building up over the years. So you want to make sure that whatever you are doing to control blood sugar, you are not putting yourself at risk for cancer or other long-term health issues. It's not just about keeping your blood sugar. The goal is to keep your blood sugar in a way that fosters true healing in the body. Once again, you can't put yourself at risk for cancer in the name of controlling blood sugar. The same diet that keeps your blood sugar normal could also be putting you at risk for cancer. My free Do It to Heal shopping guide provides you with a complete list of foods that can help you control blood sugar in a way that truly heals the body instead of putting you at risk for cancer and other chronic health conditions. Just comment Do It to Heal and I'll send the shopping guide your way. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.